You are born in 200 BC Greece, in a town called Delphi. Your father is a free citizen, while your mother tends the house. By the time you turn 5, you're a perfect combination of beauty and mischief. Your mother scolds you every day you come home from play, as you always come home dirty. Your father, on the other hand, laughs as he tells her to let you be a kid. By the time you turn 9, you've already graduated to stealing figs and olives from both market vendors and pilgrims. Occasionally, you're caught and get a serious scolding from your mother. You always promise to change. But in a week, you're back in the market. For some reason, no one takes your truancy seriously. They only take you to your parents. Ever since you were born, you've seen pilgrims come from everywhere. Athens, Sparta, and places you've never heard of, trudging up the sacred way with their serious faces and their sacrificial goats. You find them mostly annoying. You know they're all here to see the Pythia, a woman whom Apollo, the god of the sun, prophecy, music, and healing, speaks through. One time when you were a bit younger, you witnessed a procession. The crowd went silent. That's how you knew something was happening. You squeezed between bodies so you could see. That's when you saw her. An old woman moving through the street in a simple white dress and veil. One friend pulled you close and whispered that her mother told her that the woman is the most powerful woman in all of Greece, that kings listen to her words. You watch her pass. In your little eyes, she didn't look powerful. She just looked pitiful. After all, who lets their grandma walk for that long? But since she isn't your grandma, you don't bother. You are 14 when the Pythia dies. You don't think much of it. Old women die. That's what they do, especially one that walks for long distances under sweltering heat. But what you never expected was the priests coming to your house. There are 3 of them. They speak to your father first in low formal tones, while you stand in the doorway trying to understand why everyone keeps glancing at you. Then one of them turns and looks at you. Not at your face exactly, but at your eyes, and nods once. He says that the Pythia left behind instructions in a prophecy before she died, that a brunette with green eyes from your district is to succeed her. Your father's eyes go wet. He grips your shoulder like you've just been saved from drowning. Then he runs outside, shouting that Apollo has chosen his daughter. You've never seen him so happy. It turns out the Pythia is beloved by everyone in Delphi. Well, you can't blame them. It's the only reason Delphi hasn't been turned to a colony of a larger city-state. In the meantime, you're told by one of the priests that you'll be the next Pythia, that you'll be embraced by Apollo for life. Then he tells you what it means. No marriage, no children, no leaving. You hold it until you die. You wait for someone to ask what you want. Nobody asks. That night, you lie in the dark and say your name to the ceiling. Quietly. Once. The way you might say goodbye to someone leaving on a long journey. In the morning, your mother braids your hair without speaking. Your father walks you to the precinct gate. They both look proud as you walk in. Then the gates close. And from that moment on, you're the Pythia. Your duties begin immediately after the gate closes. Already a priest is walking you through the ritual you'll spend your life performing. No settling in, no time to look around. The truth is, there is a schedule, and you are now part of it. First, you're told to fast before every consultation. How many days, you ask? They tell you, as many as Apollo requires. Then they take you to bathe in the Castalian spring. You're told that you'll do this every day before dawn, even in winter. Then you're told to drink from the Cassitus spring. Immediately you taste it. You make a face. The water tastes like metal and something else you can't locate. The priest watches you without expression. You drink it. Then they hand you some leaves and ask you to chew them. They're bitter. They also make your tongue feel strange as your thoughts arrive slightly late, like they're traveling from somewhere further away than usual. Immediately after, they take you underground to the Eideton, which is the sacred innermost sanctuary. The Eideton is small and sunken. The air inside it feels different from the air outside. It's heavier, older, and carrying something sweet underneath the smoke of the altar. As you descend the ramp, the smell gets stronger. Not unpleasant, but almost beautiful. As you drift away with the smoke, you see it. From a crack in the rock beneath the bronze tripod, in front of you, you see a faint shimmer rising, like heat, but not heat, like breath, but from the earth itself. It moves the way living things move. You have grown up in this town. You have heard these stories your whole life. You know exactly what this is. It's the scales from the rotting corpse of the monstrous serpent Python that Apollo slew and buried beneath the temple. You know this from the myths your mother told you just to get you to sleep. So you sit on the tripod and grip the edges with both hands. Your heart is going very fast. It is in this moment you believe Apollo is here. Your encounter with Apollo begins as warmth, not the warmth of sunlight or a fire. This warmth comes from inside your chest and moves outward, slow and certain, like honey poured into cold water. You grip the tripod as you take a deep breath. The sweet shimmer rising from the crack in the rock below you thickens as you breathe it in. It tastes the way the spring water tastes, but softer and gentler. Then you feel the walls beginning to breathe. You watch this happen with a kind of distant curiosity. You watch the stone expand and contract slowly, almost in rhythm. Then you see the lamplight bend, and for some reason, you feel yourself flying. Your hands are still on the tripod. You can see them, you don't just feel them. Then without warning, your thoughts come apart. Not violently. Instead, you feel it like a cloth slowly pulled at its seams. One thread, then another, then the whole thing releasing. You try to hold on to a thought, but it moves away from you like smoke. You watch it go, like you actually see smoke pass through your ears and escape. But honestly, you're not frightened. The truth is, you barely feel anything. You only feel like a door standing open in a warm wind. Then, your mouth makes a sound. It wasn't intentional. It didn't come from the girl who stole figs and said her name to the ceiling 3 days ago. This feels divine, like the sound of the earth settling. This isn't you speaking, but you know, with the bone-deep certainty of someone raised in this town, in this temple shadow, exactly who it is. So you let him. Minutes later, maybe hours or seconds, you really don't know. You come back slowly. And just like that, the walls become just walls. For a moment, your legs don't work right, and your voice refuses to come out. Immediately, attendants hold your arms. In front of you, priests record your words. Then you see them deliberate, debate, and argue about it. Then almost immediately, they already have a prophecy. You expect them to tell you what your words, or better yet, what Apollo's words meant, but they're already shuffling out. Through the wall, you can hear the priests speaking to the delegation that came for a prophecy. You wonder what they're saying, but you'll never know. To them, Apollo spoke. You're just the vessel. Months pass, and that routine becomes your life. Fast, bathe, drink, descend, breathe the sweet shimmer. Let the gods speak. Surface, sleep, begin again. Through all this, the temple reveals itself slowly. Not all at once, in layers. The priests move through the temple in their own patterns, hierarchies, and own language of small gestures and meaningful silences. There are the Hosioi, 5 holy men who supervise the sanctuary's sacred functions. Then the Prophetai, the interpreters, the one who listen during sessions. Then there's the delegates or worshippers that ask questions to Apollo. Everyone has a role. Everyone knows their place. And this keeps the temple running smoothly. Still, you're the most important part of it, and also the part that understands it least. But with time, You begin to notice things. How the priests spend a long time in the antechamber after each session, longer than relaying a message should take. How conversations stop when you appear in doorways. Once you passed a room and saw two priests arguing, genuinely arguing and gesturing at a document. You heard them say something about a specific word, but immediately when they saw you, the room went quiet. Sacred business, you tell yourself, not meant for you. But there is a priest who humors you. He smiles at you when no one's watching, warmly, genuinely. He's named Plutarch. You always notice that he's always somewhere nearby writing on his tablets. One day, you ask him what he's writing. History for the future generations, he says. He tells you that someone has to make sure they know the greatness of what Apollo does here. You find this deeply comforting, the fact that your name might transcend time. You don't ask what he writes specifically. It just never occurred to you. But there is still one thing that you don't quite understand. The issue is that the prophecy priests delivered to delegations is in hexameter, the formal verse structure of Homer's poetry and the highest register of the Greek language. It consists of 6 rhythmic beats per line, precise and metrically perfect. You know this because you grew up in Delphi, and every kid in Greece knows what a hexameter sounds like. But you also know that what comes out of you in the trance is not that. You think about this for several days, and just when you think there might be a conspiracy, the answer arrives clean and simple. Apollo must have been speaking hexameter in the divine language. After all, if hexameter is the highest register of the Greek language, it must be the gods' language. Seasons pass, then years. Still, the endless rotation of delegations climbing the sacred way with their laurel branches and their serious faces remains constant. You are 24 now. Younger attendants look at you now with a particular reverence that has nothing to do with the role and everything to do with the fact that the years have been generous with you. You are striking in a way that makes people pause mid-sentence. Priests treat you with a careful formality. Pilgrims who catch a glimpse during processions stare longer than they should. But that is not the only thing the years have done. Your sleep is heavier than it used to be. The dreams inside it go to strange places. Not unpleasant exactly, but vast, like standing in a room with no ceiling. Words occasionally take a half beat longer to arrive than they once did. A small blankness where the words should be. After each session, your hands tremble for hours, but you aren't scared or worried. After all, you understand perfectly what it all means. Apollo is refining you, burning away what is ordinary, what is merely human, leaving something cleaner underneath. You have always heard the stories of Pythias who came before, how the role marked them, set them apart, and made them something the word woman doesn't quite cover. You believe the label human falls short too, so you try to speed up your apotheosis by breathing in, feeling the sweetness, and letting your mind go. You are 27 now. You have been attending to visitors for years. Every delegation that arrives brings its worries with it, whether it be the political situation of their city, the fear of battle, or the smokescreen questions that hide their true agenda. They all come to this room, to you, and you absorb it all. Over the years, kings have altered their campaigns based on what came out of you. The entire Greek world bends based on the words spoken around this tripod. At this moment, you believe you are the most important voice in Delphi, maybe all of Greece, and you understand why. Apollo is not speaking through you anymore. You're speaking as Apollo. The boundary between the vessel and the god has dissolved, and what sits on this tripod is something that partakes of both. Why else would kings listen to you? Why else would they listen to a woman? A woman cannot vote, own an army, or sit in any council in any city in Greece. And yet, generals change their plans because of what comes out of your mouth. That is not human authority. It is divine. One day, a king arrives at Delphi. You hear him before you see him. The sound of an entourage, sandals on stone, and the particular silence that falls over people in the presence of someone who commands armies. The priests receive him with uncommon deference. He controls 3 territories and has never lost a battle. When they bring him to the Abaton, he fills the doorway. He is tall and broad-shouldered with a general's bearing. His robes are deep crimson, while his rings catch the lamplight. You admit that he's impressive, but to you who are already close to the divine, all men are equal. So you begin the ritual. As you start, he asks the priest for privacy, to be alone in Apollo's presence, to receive the oracle without intermediaries, as a king deserves. The priests look at each other. Then they leave. Immediately you feel a shift in his bearing. The change is so sudden, you surface from the trance unknowingly. You try to step off the tripod, but he is faster. He pushes you to the ground. Then he starts to whisper words you do not want to understand. Words about wanting to touch what is divine, about wanting to be one with Apollo. Then he begins the abominable act. You scream for help as you hear scrambling from behind the door. Then silence. You realize that his guards must have subdued the priests. At that moment, you are not the Pythia anymore. You are a girl on a cold stone floor. When he finishes, he stands and adjusts his robe with the unhurried movements of a man who has done nothing wrong. He calls once toward the door. His guards enter. They form around him as he walks out of the Abaton. You don't need an oracle to know that he's on his way out of the temple, out of the precinct, and back down the sacred way toward the city, to his ships, and definitely to the safety of his kingdom. The priests are outside. You can hear them. They do not stop him. They can't. Delphi has no army. It had never needed one. After all, who raises a hand against Apollo's house? You, on the other hand, are in tears as you lie on the ground and beg Apollo to strike him dead. You come out of the Abaton and watch him walk away as you wait for the ground to split open and swallow him up. It doesn't happen. Still, you wait for Apollo to do something. Anything. You believe that he can't just watch what happened in his house, on his floor, to his chosen one, and not do anything. But nothing happens as you watch him disappear into the streets. And through it all, Apollo does not speak. The priests come eventually. They speak to you carefully, and they tell you about the sanctity of the precinct as they take you to a secluded chamber in the inner sanctum. You notice that the room has no windows. They tell you, this is for your protection. You just nod. Days pass, maybe weeks. The world outside continues without you. You hear it through the stone, muffled and distant, as the machine runs perfectly without its most important part. You lie on your back and stare at the ceiling. You wonder why Apollo never spoke at the time. The answer you conclude on is one you don't want to acknowledge. It's that same time Plutarch comes. He sits beside you in his kind and slightly distracted manner as he tells you the institution has made its decision, that going forward, the Pythia will only be respectable women over 50. This is to guarantee that what happened to you will never happen again. You then tell him what you were thinking about. He looks at you and asks if you believe you are the only Pythia to have been assaulted. Your eyes open wide at the question. He says that although the temple tries to hide it, centuries ago, Alexander the Great once came for a prophecy on a forbidden day, and when the Pythia at the time declined to give him one, he dragged her around the temple till she said something. You ask him quietly, the first time the words have existed outside your own head, if it was all a lie, whether all of the divine words and trance you believed in were lies. Plutarch is quiet for a moment. He sighs. Then he laughs. Softly, not cruelly. You recognize it as the laugh of a man who had stopped pretending a long time ago. Who knows, he says. Those are the words he leaves you with. Who knows? You ponder on them as the darkness envelops you. Many years after you're gone, Delphi falls. The Roman Emperor Theodosius bans all pagan worship in 393 AD. The empire goes Christian. The sanctuary closes. The priests scatter. The archive, 1,000 years of consultations, of delegations, of hexameter verse produced from women's groaning, is buried or burnt. Then centuries later, archaeologists dig. They find the fault lines first, 2 of them crossing directly beneath where your tripod stood. From those cracks, a gas rises. Ethylene. It's a sweet-smelling hydrocarbon that causes euphoria, dissociation, and altered speech. In case it sounds familiar, that's exactly what you felt. They find Plutarch's writings too. Turns out, he wrote everything down. The spring water carries dissolved compounds from the rock. The leaves you ate turns out to be oleander, a plant with documented neurological effects. The shimmer you watched rise from the earth every consultation day, the breath you mistook for a god's, was all chemistry. Just chemistry. But they don't find your name, the one your parents gave you. Nobody preserved it. After all, you're just one of the many generations of drugged out women called Pythia.